Hi, so I'm here with David Mangin and Simon Bailey from Molloy Agriculture, who've been doing some work with us on sprayers. We're just going to look at sort of the differences and things you can do with your sprayer calibration, maintenance, etc.
Right.
Sorry, over to you, David.
Thank you. First time out of the shed after its winter hibernation, what we want to do is look at it, do a visual inspection, walk around the sprayer, look for any puddles of oil or water underneath that perhaps has presented an issue through the winter. Check the tyres and the tyre pressure, make sure they're still sound, and check for bird's nests and rodent damage. Sprayers are a really good place for all those things to make a home for the winter.
Cool.
Pre-start checks. What we want to look at is our oil levels. That's in the engine and the hydraulics. Our coolant levels. Batteries, are they still charged up, and are the terminals free of corrosion? Just remember, everyone, disconnect the battery disconnect the computer before you jump start.
Okay, startup.
On startup, check the mounting points, whether that be the spray pack down to the chassis or the drawbar pins. Unfold the boom, check the boom structure, alignment and functions. Look at any height leveling system that may be on it. Check all the nozzles that are in the same position, alignment and the same size. Check your filters, and that make sure it's both the suction and the inline spray filter. Look at all the hoses for wear. Is the tank sight gauge legible, tank lid secure, and all the lights functioning as they should be.
So then now we move on to actually filling the sprayer up. So the first thing I do is connect up to your water source and fill the sprayer with probably 1,000 litres or so that you can check your nozzles and do a nozzle calibration. In the process of doing that, I would just check that all the functions on the sprayer work. So that's if you have a ability to fill the clean water tank from the spray pump, check that that works and it fills the clean water tank. Check that the chemical induction hopper works, and check that the rinse jets inside the tank work as well, so that when you do a flush through, you actually know that the tank is being cleaned properly. Then when you're happy that all those components work, I would then move on to a pressure test, where I would manually put the machine into manual mode, and then I would up the pressure to ideally a bar above your maximum spray pressure. So if you normally spray at 3 bar, you occasionally creep up to 4. I would set the machine at 5 bar. And with the machine running at 5 bar, I would check all the components, all the joints in the pipes to check there's no leaks or excessive vibration or any of those sorts of aspects. If that's okay, I would then move on to looking to the spray pattern. So I would start by lifting the boom up to about 1 meter off the ground, set the sections going, and then visually look to see what the spray pattern looks like coming out of the nozzles. If they all look good and even, I would then move on to the nozzle calibration, which would be either a jug test for a minute to get the flow rate, or using one of the digital devices that are freely available. Then I would compare that back to the manufacturer specific flow charts to see how accurate they are. If they're within 10% of the manufacturer's guide, then they're good to go for the season. So we've finished with the nozzle calibration and we're good to go. We'll look towards what you would do on a daily basis to maintain and keep your sprayer running smoothly. There's several things you can watch as you're spraying. If you hold a steady speed, is the pump working normally? So is there any pulsing on the pressure gauge? It will vary slightly, but if it starts moving a long way, then you'll need to try and ascertain whether the valves have gone in the pump. And then from there you can look to see what your flow figure is for your given nozzles at a given speed. And as long as the rate controller is saying that you're within a couple of litres a minute of what the nozzle should be doing, you're okay that the sprayer is functioning properly. The easiest check is probably you know how much liquid you've put in the sprayer and how many hectares that should cover. And as long as that is reaching that target each time, you know the sprayer is accurate. So that's almost a daily calibration if you want. And then from there on, I would just keep an eye on your individual sections to check that they're all turning on and off at the same sort of time and there's no excessive delays or nozzles that are staying on and dripping. And then when you finish spraying for the day, you start looking into your flush out procedures and how much water you run through your machine, and you make sure that it goes through all of the components in the machine. So it goes through your rinse jets every day, goes through your recirculation lines back to the tank, and then it's all flushed out with nice clean water at the end of the day, so you're not getting chemical residue build up in the spray lines or in other components on the machine, which will dry out overnight and then will block your machine the next day, and that should lead to a nice happy sprayer.
Rate controllers, make sure that your GPS system has got a current subscription. If not, get it renewed before the season starts. Software on your computer, is that current? If it's not, I would suggest you get the experts to come in and do the update, just in case you get a corruption. So, end of season, thoroughly wash all your components of your sprayer, inside, and wash the exterior. Disconnect the battery once it's parked up if it's going to be there for a small while. Note down any maintenance issues that have cropped up through the season that either the dealer or yourself need to fix or buy parts. And if you parked it up and you're worried about frost, put a little bit of liquid nitrogen through and flush that out through your system into a container, and it'll be there all good for next season.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, David. Thank you very much, Simon.